Have you ever tried to reason with someone who just wasn't listening? Someone who had already made up their mind no matter what you said? Today, we're diving into a classic fable that exposes this dark side of human nature, a story about a wolf, a lamb, and the terrifying truth that for some, any excuse will do. Imagine a peaceful scene. A gentle stream sparkles under the warm sun, meandering through a lush green meadow. Birds are singing and everything feels safe. A little lamb full of innocence and life is quenching its thirst at the edge of the water. It's a picture of perfect tranquility, but tranquility can be shattered in an instant. From the shadows of the nearby woods, a pair of hungry eyes is watching. A lean gray wolf, driven by a cruel hunger, has spotted its target. The wolf doesn't just pounce. Oh no, that would be too simple. Instead, it decides to play a game, to create a justification for the terrible thing it's about to do. Slowly, deliberately, the wolf pads out from the trees and approaches the stream, positioning itself upstream from the lamb. The little lamb, seeing the predator, feels a shiver of fear but stays calm, hoping its presence has gone unnoticed. But the wolf has no intention of ignoring it. With a low, menacing growl, the wolf speaks, its voice dripping with false accusation. "You! How dare you muddy the water I'm drinking?" The lamb looks up, surprised. It sees the wolf upstream, and the clear water flowing from the wolf down to where it stands. The physics are simple. With a trembling but clear voice, the lamb replies, "But sir, how can I be dirtying your water? I am standing downstream. The water flows from you to me, not the other way around. It's impossible for me to affect your drink." The lamb's logic is flawless. It's a simple, undeniable fact. Any reasonable creature would see the truth in this. But this wolf isn't interested in reason. It's interested in a meal. Thwarted by logic, the wolf's eyes narrow. It needs another excuse, a different angle of attack. It bares its teeth, a cruel grin spreading across its face. "All right then," the wolf growls, a new invented memory flashing in its mind. "Perhaps you're right about the water, but I remember you. A year ago, you were spreading nasty rumors about me and my family. You insulted my brother. I will not let such disrespect go unpunished." The accusation hangs in the air, heavy and absurd. The lamb, smaller and younger than ever, looks at the wolf with wide, honest eyes. The accusation is so preposterous, it's almost laughable. If the situation weren't so deadly. The lamb takes a small step back, its voice barely a whisper, but filled with the unshakable power of truth. "A year ago?" the lamb bleats softly. But sir, a year ago I wasn't even born. I'm just a few months old. How could I have possibly insulted your brother?" Again, the lamb presents a perfect, logical, irrefutable defense. It's not an opinion. It's a fact of its own existence. It has an alibi provided by time itself. The lamb has proven its innocence twice. It has used reason and truth to counter every false charge. Surely now the wolf must see its error and leave it be. Surely justice and reason will prevail. But the story doesn't end there. The wolf is now furious. Not because it was wrong, but because its justifications were so easily dismantled. The lamb's innocence didn't inspire mercy. It ignited the wolf's rage. The wolf was never looking for a conversation. It was never interested in justice. It was just looking for a socially acceptable sounding reason to commit a terrible act. With its excuses stripped away, the wolf reveals its true nature. If it wasn't you, then it was your father or your mother or some other relative of yours. It doesn't matter who it was. You sheep are all the same, and I'll make you pay for all the trouble you've caused. And with that final, desperate, all-encompassing excuse, the wolf lunges. It doesn't wait for a reply. It doesn't care about the lamb's innocence. The debate is over. This fable, famously told by Aesop, is so much more than a children's story. It's a profound and chilling commentary on power, injustice, and the nature of tyranny. The final moral of the story is this: any excuse will serve a tyrant. Let's break that down. The wolf isn't a wolf because it's hungry. In this story, the wolf is a symbol for anyone who holds power and has already decided on a destructive course of action. It could be an abusive boss, a corrupt government, a bully in the schoolyard, or even someone in a personal relationship who has decided to hurt another. The lamb represents the innocent, the powerless, the victim. The lamb did everything right. It was respectful, it used logic, it presented facts. It appealed to reason, and none of it mattered. This is the terrifying lesson of the fable. Logic and innocence are not a shield against those who are determined to harm you. For a tyrant, the excuse is not the reason for their action. It's merely a performance for themselves or for others. The decision to attack was made long before the conversation ever began. The accusations about the water and the insults were just theater. This is the principle of might makes right. The wolf's true argument wasn't about dirty water or old insults. Its true argument was its sharp teeth, its strong jaws, and its raw power. The wolf attacks the lamb not because the lamb is guilty, but because the wolf is strong and the lamb is weak. It's a demonstration that for those who operate on the principle of pure power, morality and truth are irrelevant obstacles. They've already convicted you in their own minds, and the trial is just a formality, a cruel game they play before delivering the sentence. So, what can we learn from this? It's a reminder to be aware of the wolves in our lives. People who argue in bad faith, who aren't looking for a solution, but are looking for a justification to attack, belittle, or control. You can present them with all the evidence and logic in the world, but it will be like talking to a brick wall because their mind is already made up. Recognizing this pattern is the first step to protecting yourself. Sometimes the wisest thing to do when you realize you're talking to a wolf is not to keep arguing, but to disengage and get away. You cannot reason someone out of a position they didn't reason themselves into. Their position is based on their desire for power and control, not on facts. The wolf's final outburst: if it wasn't you, then it was your father or your mother or some other relative of yours. It doesn't matter who it was. You sheep are all the same, and I'll make you pay for all the trouble you've caused, is the ultimate tell. When their specific excuses fail, tyrants often resort to broad, vague generalizations. They blame your entire family, your community, your group. This is how prejudice and oppression worked. It's not about the individual, it's about condemning a whole category of people to justify mistreatment. The lamb had no chance because in the wolf's eyes, it was already guilty by association. Its very identity as a sheep was its crime. This timeless story forces us to look at the world and ask ourselves, where do we see this happening today? It's a heavy question, but an important one. The story of the wolf and the lamb isn't meant to make us hopeless. It's meant to make us wise. It's a warning. It teaches us to recognize the difference between a genuine disagreement and a pretext for aggression. It teaches us that while we should always value truth and reason, we must also recognize that they are not always enough to protect us from those who have no regard for either. It's a call to be vigilant, to protect the vulnerable, and to challenge the might makes right mentality wherever we find it. Because in a just world, innocence should be its own defense. Thanks for watching and thinking through this deep story with me. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that makes you think. Until next time, stay wise and stay safe.